Welcome back. This is part 2 of the Excel UserForm build series. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I highly recommend checking that out first. The link is in the description and in the top right corner. In this part we'll write the VBA logic that powers the buttons, inputs and interacts inside our form. Let's get into it. Alright, the next thing is we're gonna code the UserForm initialize. So do the design and the controls so this UserForm works. We double click here and then we are standing in the UserForm, but we go to initialize. I can just get rid of that. So first we want to center the form on the Excel window to be in the middle, to pop up in the middle. So when you click here, it pops up somewhere like in the middle. And we're gonna do that by writing ME startup position equals 0. And then we do a ME left equal application dot left plus application width divided by 2 minus ME dot width divided by 2. And we're gonna do the same for the top. Let's just copy paste this and replace this with top. And replace this with top. And now we're gonna set the height. So we're not gonna use the width, we're gonna use the height. Same formula. So the top will be set as application.top plus application height divided by 2 minus ME height divided by 2. Then we set the form as 500 and 500. So ME height equal 500 and ME width equal 500. And then instead of have this gray boring background, let's do this same blue color here just to pimp it up. So we're going to set me.backcolor equal RGB 173, 216, 230. So now it's the same color. The only thing we need here is to set the labels also to the same color, so they also have the same background color. Otherwise it looks kind of weird. And we're gonna do that now. I'm just gonna do a ME label 1 dot and then basically copy paste this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we have the special label, but we need to rename that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's our labels. And this label, I believe we call it LBL. Actually, let me check that. What did we call it? LBL total hours. LBL total hours. And now it's set. And you see it also opens up in the middle. It opens up in the middle of the screen. So we just set that. So now it looks good. Moving on. Then we need to populate this combo box. And there's multiple ways you can do that, but let's just keep it simple and do it with a array. So the way you can do that is writing MECBO employee.list equal array parentheses Alice, Bob, and Charlie. You can expand this list if you need more names, and you can also reference them to a sheet, a backend sheet that have all the names. So when you update the sheet, the combo box get updated as well. But this is what we basically did. So we can pick an employee here. We need to do that the same for the project. And let's just copy paste it again. And write here project. And the array should include admin, development, and support. So now we have the drop down to the combo box here. Then we do metxt date.value and set the format as date, comma, month / day / year. Then we're gonna do a selected row index equals 0 and selected Excel row equals 0. And then we need to write a load that will load all the data we enter. Basically, it should load when we enter this. Now this button doesn't work, but when we fill in this form and we click submit, it should go into this box and it should load it from the backend sheet here. So we will have another submodule we call from here. We can call that something like load list and code that later on. All right, the next thing is we're gonna add a code to these buttons. So when you click it, the text box gets filled in with the timestamp where you check in and when you check out. Let's start here, the start time. And the way we're gonna do that is write txt start time dot value equal format time comma h colon mm like so. And we can actually copy paste this because it will be pretty similar on the end time. When you click here and check out, all you need to do is to change it to end because it's the end time text box we need to format a time stamp on. Let's test it. So now it stamps 10:46. And yeah, it will timestamp 10:46 again because it hasn't changed. But the idea is that you check in here and then when you're done working, you check out. And you don't have to have this form open all 7 hours you're working or whatever. You will see that more when we click on the items we have already logged in on. Moving on, because here we need to make a submodule here that calculate the total hours. And we're going to do that with a private sub here. Private sub calculate total hours. And do a on error resume next, just to do some error handling here to make it more robust. Then we're gonna do a dim start t for time as date, end t as date, and total as double. So all these elements we're gonna set as double. Then we're gonna do a if statement. If is date txt start time dot value and is date txt end time dot value. Then so we're basically checking if these text boxes include date format, which we ensured previously. Then we're gonna do a start t equal time value txt start time dot value. Actually, let's do some more spacing down here. So it's easier for you to see. So we have set the start time to equal time value equal txt start time dot value. Then we need to set the end time t equal time value txt end time dot value, and then the total equal nt minus start t multiplied by 24. Then we're gonna do the label lbl total hours dot caption. We're basically gonna change the caption to round total, comma 2, and combine it with a string hours. So it's basically telling us how many hours we logged in when we're clicking the second button checking out. Then it calculates it and changes the caption in the label. Else, we're gonna set lbl total hours dot caption equal blank. And then we're gonna end our if statement here with an end if. On error, go to 0. Move this up again. That's it. And all we have to do now is to call this within the two text boxes. Call calculate total hours. And both of them here. And let's test it. We have the total hours here. And it vanished here because we don't have any total hours yet. And then we check out here. And you see it calculates 0,02 hours. This will make more sense if we've logged in 7 hours, or whatever, from 8 to 3. Then it will say 7 hours here. So you get the idea. So it seems to be working. All right, the next thing I want to do is to do the load list submodule. So we have it to load the entries we have entered already. So basically, I just need to write some data here to test if it works. Let's just put 1111 because we haven't coded the submit button. But I actually want to code this first because they're all connected. We also need to connect it with clear and so on. But let's take one step at a time, and we're gonna write the private sub load list below this one. Private sub load list. We can do that with dim ws as worksheet. Set ws equal this workbook. Timesheet data. That's our name of our sheet. And then we're gonna dim last row as long and I as long. Then we're gonna do a with lst enters. That's our name of our list box. Do a dot clear first to clear it out. Then do a dot column count. Set that equal to 8. Because we will have here 8 columns with employee, date, start time, end time, total hours, project, and notes, and a timestamp. Then we're gonna do a dot column width. Set that equal to 100, comma 70, comma 60, 60, 60, and 90, comma 120, and 120. Then we're gonna end our width. And these sizes I've all tested before this video to make sure it would be a good fit. But this is for you to test around. This is basically the size of each column inside of the list box. Then we're going to do a last row equal ws cells ws.rows that count, comma 1, take it from the first column and do a end Excel dot row. And then we're gonna do a for I equal 2 to last row and write lst enters add item ws cells I, comma 1 dot value. That's our first column. And then we're gonna do a lst entries dot list lst entries dot list count minus 1, comma 1. Because a list box you have to retract 1 because that's how our list box is working. And we're gonna set that equal column 2 equal ws cells I, comma 2 dot value. And then we can just copy paste this. Two, 3, and 4, and change this format ws cells I, comma 3 the value, comma h colon That's our timestamp. And the same format for the next one. And change it to the 4th column. Then we have the 5th here. So we write 5, 6, 7, and write 6, 7, 8. So we have the numbers here from 1 to 7 and 2 to 8 here. But we have our first column here. And then we're gonna do a next I. That's it. And then we're gonna open this up, comment this, leave this comment out, and we can just check if it is correct. You see it corrected the small letter to a big letter. And we need to correct this error with, I've misspelled it, but now it should work. And you see here, it writes 111 all the way here. It doesn't write it here because it's the timestamp format. So far, so good. All right, the next thing we're gonna code is the clear button that clears the form. Double click here. Then we're gonna do a me.cpo employee dot value equal blank, me.txt date dot value equal blank, me.txt start time dot value equal blank, me.txt end date time dot value equal blank, me cbo project dot value equal blank, me txt notes dot value equal blank, and me lbl total hours dot caption equal blank. Then we're gonna do a selected Excel row equals 0. And that's it for now. The idea should be that if you regret your entries here before saving it, you can just clear it. And then you've cleared all the entries here. A small change here, instead of having all these elements in the bottom clear click, we just copy it to a separate module. And I'm gonna explain you why I want to have it in a different module. We call that sub clear form and copy paste it in. And then we just call here clear form. The reason why I want it to be in a separate is it's easier to just edit this if you need some change. If you need more elements in the form and you need to clear it, then it's easier to just have one separated. Because we also need to add it to the submit button at the end. So when we're submitting, the last thing it should do is call the clear form. So imagine now we haven't coded the submit button, but let's just imagine we have coded it and we check in here and we check out here. Now it says 0 hours, but let's say a couple of hours later, and we have the project here, the admin, and some notes here you can write. And then when we have coded this, it will submit and clear the form, and you can write some data again. Otherwise, if we don't have the clear form, all the elements will just remain with the data in. And then we have to click clear here, and we just might as well just have it as the last step of the submit button. Now we're gonna code the rest of the submit button. Then you will see what I mean. And now we're done with these numbers. This was just for testing. Now let's code the submit button. Great progress. Now that the form logic is working, let's complete the build. In part 3, we'll connect this form to Sheet, save data, and basic error handling. Click through to part 3 in the end screen or pinned comment. Let's finish this strong.